Hello there, my name is Cedric, or Stupid You. I'm the creator of FreeGameFindings, and today I am here doing yet another non-FGF short video for the FGF YouTube channel. As we spoke of in the last video, I did like this, the mechanical keyboard scene is rather vast. There are just so many options to choose from that it is always a cool idea to explore some alternatives. Around this holiday season, I found out about Chilkey, a brand from WooQ, and I'm not confident on the pronunciation of that. Plenty of their products are already on the popular stores, such as mechanicalkeyboards.com, who we spoke of last go around. The Chilkey brand offers assembled keyboards, bare bones keyboard kits, keycaps, key switches, a couple other accessories, and even a mouse. In this video here, I'll be going over and unboxing my own Slice75 and Glacier mouse, which Chilkey sent to me to go alongside an FGF giveaway from them. The board is an aesthetically pleasing mechanical keyboard with adjustable actuation points and sports Hall Effect Gateron Jade Pro switches by default. It also touts Snappy Tappy, which we will have to talk about later on. The mouse is an extremely light tri-mode, Bluetooth 2.4G wireless and wired optical switch mouse with an open bottom and a little OLED screen. Stay tuned until the end to learn about how you could win your very own Slice75 keyboard, Glacier lightweight 8K mouse, and even a bundle of them with some fancy switches added on top. Big thanks of course go out to Chilkey for supplying this promotion. Without further ado, let's unbox my Slice75 and Glacier. Packaged in an unmarked box, we find my goodies. A few support boxes out of the way, and we see the boxes for the mouse and keyboard. It is at this point that I realize the reflective material on some of these items might end up being a problem for this video. Now we get to deal with the weird stabilization stuff and this blinding light. Anyway, after a quick look around the box here, let's get into it. I'll set the mouse aside for a moment and focus on the other items. First up is a nice little baggie to pop the mouse into for travel. Feels pretty good. Next is, I think, some sort of badge to stick to your computer if you like. Here is a replacement set of skates for the bottom of that mouse. It's also impossible for me to record that. And finally, a sticker. I believe this here is grip tape. Not really my thing, but I understand that some people are into it. So hey, it's included. Of course, we get a little manual, which I'll go through later on. And then this little box here that we'll poke around at in a moment. First up is a 2.4G wireless adapter. A bit different, as I was expecting it to have a male end to connect it somewhere, similar to other, wireless puck type of things. But there is an included, apparently 1 meter long USB-C cable to do this, which we can see here. Nice and braided. With everything else explored, we can get into the mouse itself. Immediately noticeable is the extremely light weight. That and the screen, which honestly feels a little bit gimmicky, but certainly is neat. Flipping it over and removing this little protector, we see what it was protecting: the open bottom of the mouse. This, I assume, would help with the weight a bit, plus the visual is definitely interesting. They went the extra mile to screen print the PCB. I don't know if it changes with which color you go with for the mouse when you buy it, but in this one it's black at least. I sure hope that I don't end up gunking the bottom of this up too quickly. We'll see how that goes. I guess you just need to blast it here and there. Before we give it a flip and turn it on, notice the button and slider. One for switching between connectivity modes, and the other for changing DPI. I really like that it's a physical button and it's not somewhere that you'll accidentally hit it. I've not got the adapter connected to anything right now, but I'll turn the mouse on for a moment and show off the OLED screen a bit. I called it a bit of a gimmick earlier, but seeing the battery percentage displayed is actually kind of cool. I wonder if there's anything else you can do with it. Maybe we'll find out in the software portion of the video. By the way, we will not. The mouse sure is neat, but let's get moving into the biggest item of them all, the Slice75 keyboard. A box within a box, and we get our even more reflective material to torch some retinas. We've got a little clear plastic thing that I'll just pop off and put to the side. Really extensive print onto a box for this one. Anyway, let's get it open. First up is the most reflective thing yet, so I'll have to cut around this and not show you my reflection as I'm awkwardly crouched over this at 3 in the morning for this recording. Within this box, we've got a few baggies. First up is a ribbon cable, which I think is for the daughter board, and an Allen key for those that like to jump on into it and get tinkering. The board is hot swappable, so you could change out those switches if you like. Next up is the standard keycap and key switch puller. The final baggie here is another USB-C cable. Didn't catch how long it was, but it seems good. It again is braided. And finally, we have the main dish, the Slice75 keyboard itself. I instantly start poking around and already dig the feeling of it, even in this odd position. The sound is pretty good to me. It's loud, but not a bad loud. Subjective though. I'll do a sound test of sorts later on so you can be the judge. The print on the keys looks pretty great as well. I do quickly get drawn to this little acrylic badge thing that I can't say I like at all. Flipping it over, we see the cracked detail that follows along to the top of the board. Then of course the port for the USB-C cable. I took one of the caps off for a moment to show the Gateron Jade Pro Hall Effect switches that it comes with. This switch feels pretty solid to me. Love the look of it as well, but of course you aren't going to see that. Very happy with the double shot keycap too, really high quality. Maybe a slight misprint on the E's that are on the insert and delete keys, but not too bad or anything. Overall, really good. In closing, here are all of my items. For the mouse accessories, we got a quick glimpse at a little baggie, replacement skates, that grip tape, a couple other thingies, then the braided cable and the wireless adapter. For the board now, our documentation of course, the braided USB-C cable, daughter board connector, Allen key, and key puller, and then the primary focus, the wonderfully light Glacier mouse. Enjoy my clicking around and trying to show it off here a bit. And finally, the Slice75 keyboard. Great feel out of the gate with a matching visual to go right alongside it. Before I do a formal review of sorts where I break down my thoughts on the board and mouse together, I figured it would be wise to run through another sound test of the keyboard like I did last time. You might be able to notice that the arrangement has changed a little bit, so hopefully the audio still comes across well enough. Hope you dig the sound as much as I do in person. Since we've already been focusing on the keyboard here, let's start reviewing it. I've been using the Slice75 for a couple days now. Jumped into the software and changed a few things here and there for myself. Got a good bit of gaming and some writing with it done too. This entire script has been written on it, in fact. The sound, the feel, the experience as a whole, really, really good. The typing experience has been wonderful. I do some streaming, so I do worry a little bit about the sound. I've already shown off that it isn't really a quiet board by default. It does have some sound dampening foams and pads that are in there, but it doesn't change the fact that it is definitely audible. If you're looking for a quiet typing experience, you'll probably want to change out those switches. I haven't personally changed them yet or anything, but I did try popping the top case off to get a feel for it if I do end up wanting to do that. I really like the design they went with for it. The top case is attached magnetically, so you just give it a pull to get in there. This also exposes that the plate beneath it isn't actually like screwed down, so you should be careful. I wanted to try typing with the top case off, but that isn't really supported here. These Jade Pro switches are definitely different than anything I've ever typed on. I'm new to Hall effect switches for sure. I don't dislike it, but I can see where some maybe won't click with it. I'd definitely try them out as the default first, and then maybe consider changing it up if you aren't really sold on it. As I've already shown, the keycaps are pretty solid, minus a couple E's on that insert and delete key. While we are focusing on the visual of things, the general build is pretty good. I don't hate or dislike that cracked look thing on the back and the top by the port. The thing I do dislike about it though is this dumb little badge that I spoke about earlier. You can take it off and replace it with something if you have like a 3D printer or something along those lines, but I don't. I wish they included some alternative badges to kind of change that out. I honestly would rather it just be pure black or pure white or something. It is what it is though. I'll have to see if I can commission something, as I don't really get the appeal of having the Chilkey logo or mascot just always on display. With those bits out of the way, let's look at the software for the board. First off, it is web-based only, as of right now at least. From what I can tell, this board does not support VIA or GMK, which is a shame since other boards that Chilkey make do. That's alright though, as they do have some software of their own, but again, you can't download an executable for it and have it locally or anything. You can only access it through supported browsers. This is a little bit concerning for a couple of reasons. While it is definitely a convenient way to access access the software just going to a website and changing things on your board, it requires this company supporting that web app forever, or however long this board exists, which you can't particularly guarantee. I'm not expecting WooQ or Chilkey to shut down anytime soon, but you never know. That said, the software overall is pretty good, pretty deep. A lot of good lighting control to be had in there with some custom and preset options, a good few performance sliders to get things going just exactly right. I'm pretty new to this, so I haven't been tinkering with that a lot. Depending on the switches being used, you can monitor the travel of the key or switch pretty well too. The remapping tool seems good and even supports mouse controls. Next up is this advanced page, which is a bit more involved. I again won't be doing a ton in here beyond setting up macros. I'll take a quick crack at that right now, and then we can go and try to just apply it to a key that I don't expect to be using. I like that the macro function supports repeated input too, so I can continuously, say, spam space if I want to skip dialogue in a game or something like that, and then hit that macro again to shut it back off. Big fan of that. And to wrap things off in the software for this board is the update tool. Seems good, and you can even upload local stuff too. Of course, with this being a web-based piece of software, these changes would need to be saved locally to the hardware, which it is. Thankfully, it has local storage. It's nice to have that, especially for cross-system use. All right, now it's time to talk about that Snappy Tappy thing that I had brought up earlier. Snappy Tappy, or Snap Tap as it is called on some other boards, is a means of stopping a key's input once you activate another key. If you're familiar with movement-based or kind of just general FPS video games, you might be familiar with the term strafing or counter-strafing. A feature like Snap Tap aims to help a user more quickly change their input than might be natural, as it can fully disable a key press. In a game like, say, Counter-Strike, you need to be at a complete stop to have full accuracy when you aim and fire a gun. A lot of the times, a player will be walking to a side and then need to come to a complete stop to try and get somebody. You would do this by pressing the key opposite your current movement. If you're walking to the left, you would let go of that key moving you to the left and tap the key to move to the right, so as to counter the movement and stop you faster. Sometime last year, scripts and physical keyboards started gaining popularity due to their methods of improving your ability to counter-strafe like this. They would completely cut off the other key press unnaturally fast and give you a noticeable advantage. This means that instead of getting really good at naturally counter-strafing, you can just use a script or buy a board that cheeses it for you. If that sounds unfair, it's because it is. Even when this was first making the rounds online, it sounded so much like cheating that I couldn't believe it was being produced by companies and not being stopped by developers. But lo and behold, game makers seem to now agree. The use of Snap Tap and Snap Tap-like things in video games is commonly not accepted and often banned. In Counter-Strike, you will be kicked from a game for using it. I don't know if they've changed their approach since they first made the announcement, but I could honestly see it being a bannable thing as well. Other games surely followed and will follow suit. This means you definitely do not want to use a feature like this in video games where it is extremely valuable. It's also just unfair, to be honest. I don't personally know of any practical use of the feature that aren't unfair, but I guess it's possible they exist. In a game where you can simply cheese your way into an advantage over just developing a skill, it definitely isn't cool, and you shouldn't be doing it. I had to cut here for a moment as I wanted to get some clarification on the whole Snappy Tappy thing. According to May, who is a support member in the Chilkey Discord, the Snappy Tappy functionality that is touted on this board is something you need to configure on your own and is not active by default. It should be one or maybe multiple of the advanced options for keys that you can see in software. So the logic for this would be that you would configure a profile for games where you would want to use this Snappy Tappy thing on and then switch to it. But like I had already mentioned, you really shouldn't try to use that function because it does feel like there can't really be a good or natural use case for it. For other different kinds of advanced functions, sure, but for ones that would try to give you this kind of cheating advantage, definitely not. Overall, the board feels and looks fantastic. A pleasing aesthetic and a solid typing experience for sure. It sounds great by default, although if you are one who's looking for silence, you may need to make a couple adjustments, namely getting different switches. I wish it came with more options for that badge, and definitely wish that it wasn't only configurable with a web-based piece of software. I would have loved some VIA or GMK support, but I think that's an extra cost for them, so maybe they just don't do it. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it either. I do admittedly like what they have in their software and do find it pretty usable. I would definitely recommend the board to people, but do be warned about that Snappy Tappy thing. It's a good board though. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention earlier, but you can pick between a black or a gray color scheme. Okie doke, now let's take a look at the Glacier Lightweight 8K mouse a bit too. Since it is a mouse, there's kind of not a lot that I can think of to say. The general feel is pretty solid. If you're somebody who really resonates with a light mouse, then you will be in luck for sure. That one is pretty new to me, but I do get why people like it. I'm a little unsure about how I feel about the open bottom of the mouse. It is nice to look at like that, but again, I do expect that to kind of be pretty quick to dust, you know? Looks cool though. I can't say that I love the Chilkey text on the side of it. I think it's a little tacky, not that big of a deal. I do appreciate the replacement skates and the included grip tape. I personally find the mouse to be a little bit too small. I have recent experience with a G502 Lightspeed from Logitech, which is larger and heavier even without the weights. I've had two of those things fail on me in roughly a year or two with pretty careful use, although consistent use. Support wouldn't replace that one a second time out of warranty. It was time to move on. Hopefully the optical switch will be able to hold this Glacier up pretty well. The Glacier overall is comfortable in my hand, if not a bit small. I find the OLED to be a little strange and I've already been fogging it up in use, but it is nice to see battery percentage on it. It doesn't seem like it is configurable in software at all though, which is a bummer. In terms of the software, it again is web-based only by the look of it. I was a little shocked to not find the link for it on the store page, but it is in the manual, so whatever. There isn't a lot of changes that I can think of that I want to actually do to this, but it does seem like there is everything you would expect. It even has key rebinding and macro support if you have something to use that for. I will personally miss not having a third or maybe even other options for side buttons on the side, but I'll have to get used to it. I appreciate that the mouse also has local storage, which is required because, you know, web-based software, so it can't run anything locally and would kind of need that. Overall, I really dig the mouse as well. A bit of a missed opportunity to not have that screen be configurable, but that novelty isn't really going to be a focus of mine anyway. I will keep harping on about how the battery percentage is kind of cool though. The 8K polling rate it touts is something I personally won't think about too much either, but others surely will. I actually forgot that the keyboard too touts the same thing. It just didn't even cross my mind when I was reviewing it before, so my bad. I'm glad that this mouse does have the standard forward and backward buttons too. I love the optical switch choice as well. The thing might be a little bit small and light for me, but I think I can adjust. I suppose I'll find out in time. Oh, and for colorways, you have a choice of black, white, or Mystique, which is a clear purple kind of thing. I really do like that one a lot and would have actually requested it had there been a matching color on the keyboard. It'd be quite the choice, I suppose, but hey, if you have a design in mind to match with it, then I think it would be a wonderful look. The 2.4G adapter has been good for me as well so far. I was overloading my USB controller a little bit, so that did cause a problem, but I just moved it to one that was more open and I was fine. I was doing data transfer, so I'm not too shocked by that. It is a little odd that I can't just plug it directly in since there's no male connector, so it doesn't match my other wireless peripherals that I have, but not a big deal. The extra length that you can get out of that is probably beneficial in all honesty. It's just different is all. Still great. The whole thing is great. Big fan of the entire package. With all of that said and done, be sure to check out the giveaway currently active on FreeGameFindings for your chance at your very own Slice75 keyboard and or Glacier lightweight mouse. Chilkey provided us with 3 of the keyboards, 4 of the mice, and 3 grand prize bundle packages where you can get the keyboard, the mouse, and the WS Flux Switches all together in one bundle. 10 total winners in a wonderful promotion on FreeGameFindings. Thank you for watching. Huge thanks go out to Chilkey and WooQ, again not positive on the pronunciation of that, for sending me the mouse and the keyboard to try out, as well as supplying the giveaway on FGF, of course. I hope this unboxing / review thing was enjoyable and informative. Working on a giveaway with a mechanical keyboard company yet again is pretty cool, and I am glad that it ended up being one that I really enjoyed again. It's additionally nice that this is the exact same stuff that you yourself could win, so I do like that too. Consider looking toward Chilkey for your next keyboard, keycap, key switch, or mouse purchase. I've been Cedric, or Stupid You. Feel free to check me out on my personal projects and keep an eye on FreeGameFindings, of course. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy.